A fish that has become remarkably popular is mackerel.
So I find my fishmonger says he can't get enough of it.
Yes, I think it's delicious, and isn't it a joy to find something that's reasonably cheap? A pate, like the one we've got on the table here, in little containers, perhaps as a starter or to have with lunch, costs 10 pence a portion, and that's jolly reasonable.
It is.
And this, when everything's going up, it seems nice and cheap. So to begin with, you can either use, I've got 2 fillets here.
Of the smoked mackerel, yes.
And you can either use two fillets like that, or 2 whole ones like this. You can buy them, as long as they're smoked, you can buy them fresh from your fishmongers or from a freezer centre or frozen. So I'm using the ones that are here, and first of all I'm going to skin the fish. I've done one, and I'm going to skin the other one. They're quite, I wanted to do it to show you, Judy, and not have it already prepared, just to show you how terribly easy it is. You see how easily, Judy, I'll turn it round, and you can see how easily it comes off. It's nothing difficult at all, and there's no waste, just that skin at the end. So I'll put that on here with the other one, and you can just look and see if there are a few bones. There aren't usually, no. So I'm going to blend that, so that's 2 fish fillets or 2 small fish, 4 ounces of cream cheese, and 8 ounces of melted butter. So wipe my hands so they're not too fishy, and the juice of half a lemon, which I'm just going to take out. So again, this is a terribly simple recipe.
Very quick to do, isn't
and you were asking about freezing. This one freezes superbly.
Does it?
Really does. It's a very nice sort of Sunday supper. Could you get me from the stove, Judy, this melted butter? I'm putting half the amount of fish, half the amount of cream cheese, half the amount of butter.
Sorry.
Lovely, it's all right.
Gave it you by the hot part.
It's all right. I'm tough. And then half the lemon juice. And this is in an electric blender.
You're doing this in 2 parts. Why? Because it's quicker?
Because the blender won't take a large amount. It works quicker if you do it in 2 lots. And put it on and switch it on to maximum. Now I find that a prod halfway through helps. That's all right, that's only the centre of the lid coming off, and I just press it back. That is a removable part, so that if you want to pour the liquid in, you can.
Another prod.
That's right, just to be sure. There we are. And then into the bowl. Now you'll notice that, in fact, if I put it right there, you'll see that it has curdled. Now this doesn't matter one bit, you must expect it to curdle. When it actually is cooled in the dish, you don't see this.
And it doesn't taste any
That's
different.
because it doesn't taste, no, it doesn't make any effect to the taste at all.
The butter, do you want? Yes.
That's right, let's pour the butter in. And I'm saving a little butter, melted butter, to put on the top. There we are. Let's give it a good prod to begin with. Press the things down, that's right. There we are. It's one thing I can't talk against, isn't it?
It keeps us quiet, does it?
Yes. There we are now. You'll notice that, in fact, that time I think I turned it on more bravely, a little bit faster speed.
Yes, it's better.
And it did better. Here we are. Waste not, want not. Now you can see that that's quite runny, and it needs a little bit of pepper. Put that out of the way. And I'm going to put it into the dish. And at this stage, you can taste it. I know exactly what it tastes like, but if you want to, you can taste it and add. Now this makes 6, Judy. Fill it up like this, and then put that in the refrigerator. And then, when it's frozen, when it's chilled solid, Then you put over a coating of melted butter.
Well, that really does look very appetising and delicious. What I'll do, Mary, is take this one that you've done before and put it with the others so that it sits there. Now, those are 6 great little starters, all ready for some super dinner party. You used a blender to mix those ingredients together, and there are quite a lot on the market, and you've got to chop the sort of liver up and things like that. This is another machine for doing that job,
yes,
isn't it?
This is a very good small chopper of meat. You have to do it in small batches, but it's very good. And it has, it revolves, the centre part revolves round, and it has a very good device for taking out the blades because they are sharp, and you can put that straight into the washing up powder. And to put it back, you just clip it in, so your hands don't need to go near the knives, which I think is a very good thing.
Very good indeed.
And you can, in fact, have several of these little bowls. It's a very good machine.
If you're doing different things.
That's right, yes.
And over here, for the last pate recipe that you're doing, you've got yet another kind.
But don't feel that you necessarily need all these gadgets. You can make a beautiful pate, as you saw in the first one, just by using a mincer. I wanted to give all the different ways of doing it. And you can also chat up your butcher. Go on a non-busy day, like a Tuesday morning, and buy the ingredients from him. Take the recipe with you, and then say, would you be kind enough to put it through the mincer for me? And if you give him a big smile and he's not too busy, I think he would do it. And you wouldn't have any washing up.
Butchers all over the country going spare, but no, I think you probably will be.
So this pate
lucky with that.
Is a real French country pate.
A rough
pate, and it is delicious, and it has more ingredients, and I like it very much. The basis is again half lean and half fat meat, and I'm using belly of pork. Now, belly of pork is something that butchers often sell very cheaply because nobody wants it. So what I've done is, this is salt belly of pork, and it's a little difficult to know how long it's been in salt. If it's been in your butcher's, ask him, has it been in salt for a week? If it's been in for a week, then you'll need to soak it overnight. If it's been in a couple of days, you won't. Then take the bone and the bone and skin off from it. There's the skin all along the top here, which I've already done. And you don't get much waste. That's the amount I had. So if you start off with 3/4 pound, you'll get that little bit of waste. Then the other ingredients are 3/4 pounds of bacon pieces. Now, I went into my butcher and asked for bacon pieces. He hadn't any scraps at the end of the week, but he gave me this very reasonably as a lump of a very fatty
bacon.
And this is green bacon. That's the one that's not smoked. But you may be able to get bacon trimmings on the bacon counter, and you can use those little scraps that aren't quite the right shape for frying.
Again, the unsmoked, because you don't want the saltiness that you have in smoked.
That's quite right. And then liver, pig's liver, is ideal, 3/4 pound, so that's 3/4 pound of all the meats. 2 shallots, now these do look a bit tatty, but they're homegrown, and you can either use 2 shallots or 1 onion, and then an egg and garlic, bay leaves and herbs. So to start off with, I've already, in fact, chopped up the liver, and I'm going to do the belly of pork. Now I'm going to use it in this food processor, and you can see as I begin to cut it, Judy, how it's still pink in the middle, because this is the salt meat. There we are. And that can all go in at once into the processor. Now there are very sharp knives in the bottom, then the lid on top, and as soon as you press it down, you get contact. Now let's just have a look in there. That's nearly fine enough. I do like it really rather coarse. There we are. So ask your butcher not too finely minced for this particular pate. Let's take that out. So it's not china, thank goodness, just a few spoons. And just take it out, and don't put your hands in something with such sharp blades. Just use something like that. Put it back on, and I'll do the rest.
And a time to keep, obviously, children well away from anything like this.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely for adult use. Then the bacon. And remember, this could be scraps quite easily rather than a lump. Take out the bone and the rind. And you see how very fatty it is. That's what makes a good patty, half lean and half fat. So again, all in together, that's 3/4 pound in there. I'm stopping it at that stage because I want to add the other ingredients to it.
Makes very easy work of it, doesn't it?
It does, yes. I mean, it's really rather a luxury, but a jolly nice luxury if you have a lot of meat to chop. 1 egg, 2 cloves of garlic, herbs. These are a tablespoonful of herbs, and I've got a little bit of tarragon here, Judy, if you can see in the jug, a few chives, and the marjoram's grown from last month, and a little bit of thyme.
Again, from your garden, so everything's starting to sprout very well there, is it, in your herb garden?
Oh, yes, it is. And then 2 shallots that have been fried in 2 ounces of lard. So that's all the last of the ingredients in. And the cooker isn't on. There we are. Then just whiz it. I've part done it. Just a little bit longer. Now 2 more ingredients. There's so many ingredients to remember today. I've got 2 more that I haven't yet added. Juniper berries. Now juniper berries are from the juniper bush. Can you just see those, Judy, there? Let's move some of the platter. And I find that I do crush them just with a wooden spoon. That's all they need. I did try doing it with a rolling pin, but they shot all over the kitchen floor. So 6 juniper berries in there. A little bit of dregs of port or sherry or whatever you've got left in the cupboard. And it doesn't matter one bit if it's got bits in it. You just count, I don't want to get carried away. 4. And it really can be the end of the bottle of any fortified wine, and a tablespoonful of flour. There we are. Now that's all the ingredients in. Where's the lid? There we are. Now I'm going to put all the ingredients in to mix together.
Lovely, that.
Does it? Yes.
It really
Actually, it
does.
does, doesn't it? So that's, and remember that you could have done this just on a mince. It would take you a little bit longer, or you could have had it, the meats anyway, done.
For you.
Now, I haven't scraped that out too well. Now to take the blade out, you pull the handle out, and I think it's a very good idea to put it straight away into soapy waters with any gadget that's got sharp knives. Put it into soapy water, not in the bottom of the washing up water, because if you do, somebody could cut their hands. And with all these sort of machines, we have rules in our house. Children don't use them. There we are. Pepper. Now, as the meat was salty, I'm only going to add a tiny little bit of salt. Just a little tiny bit, because we've got salt meat in it. And the liver was already in the bottom of the bowl.
Then you just put it in your pot.
That's right. There we are, I've got one ready here. Now this one is slightly smaller than the one you saw on the table to begin with, because I don't have a mountain of these rather nice sort of tureens or pots. So it's...
What you've got left, you've put in a little individual.
That's right. Actually, it is just going in. That's because I had quite a lot of rind. It wants to be a 2-pint container. There we are.
And then you...
Then you just put the bay leaves on top. 1, 2, 3. Lid on. And cook that for about 2 hours at 325, number 3. 1.5 to 2 hours. And to tell when it's done, put a skewer into it, Judy, and when all the juices come out, they should be clear, and then you know it's done.
Well, let's go and have a look over here at what it looks like when it comes out. Again, you've weighted it as you did the first one, and this is what it looks like. Absolutely delicious when it's ready. So I think we ought to have a taste of that, don't you? And in fact, there's a book here which you've...
There.
You said you become addicted to pate once you read that,
you
don't
do
you?
indeed.
It really is fascinating.
Now,
Yes,
Judy, what I'd like to show you, because we use salt meat, how lovely and pink it is.